Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed Thursday night in Minneapolis wasn't just basketball. No, it was a revelation. It was grit. It was heart. It was Anthony Edwards writing another chapter in his young legend. Now, sit down, get your popcorn ready, and let UNC Shay Shay tell you the whole gospel truth about how Ant-Man turned a rolled ankle into a rallying cry for the Minnesota Timberwolves. First things first, you don't just walk into a playoff game against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors and expect a free pass. This is postseason warfare. The stakes are high, the lights are hot, and everybody got something to prove. Edward, he had every reason to fold. I mean, let's talk about what happened. 5:56 left in the first half. Trayce Jackson-Davis comes down. Boom. Steps right on Ant's left ankle. Now I've had injuries like that, and let me tell you, your mind races. You don't know if it's a tweak or if it's something that's gonna cost you the rest of the series. But Anthony Edwards, he ain't built like everybody else. See, Ant stayed down, not because he was soft, no sir, but because that pain was real. But he didn't need a stretcher. He didn't wave nobody off. And when that timeout came, he got up and walked himself back to the locker room. Limping? Yeah. Hurting? Absolutely. But defeated? Hell no, at that point. The Timberwolves had built a solid lead. They were up 56-39 at the break, and folks were wondering if Edwards was going to return. The tweet went out. Anthony Edwards' ankle. Questionable to return? Now I done played with some dogs in my day. Terrell Davis, John Elway. And I can tell when a player got that old school dog in him. Edwards got it. Halftime rolls around, and there he is, out there warming up. Now let me ask you all, if you was up in the series, maybe you sit your star. But they were down 0-1, and that boy knew what was at stake. He said, "Take me up. I'm going back in." And go back in he did. Started the third quarter like he ain't just rolled his ankle 20 minutes ago. That, my friends, is what greatness looks like when it's still wet cement. Not dry yet, but you can already see the shape it's taken. And put up 13 second half points, brought the energy, the leadership, and the clutch plays. He was everywhere, hitting mid-range jumpers, attacking the rim, finding open teammates, shoot. He even snagged 9 rebounds and dished out 5 assists. Finished the night with 20 points in 34 gritty, grinded-out minutes. But numbers don't even tell the whole story. You look at his plus-minus, out 21. That means while he was on the floor, Minnesota outscored the Warriors by 21. That's impact. That's leadership. That's legacy in the making. Now let's break this all the way down. The Timberwolves needed this win bad. You go down 0-2 to the Warriors. Even if it's going back to the Bay, that's a dangerous place to be. But Ant-Man wasn't gonna let that happen. He said, "Not in my house." That boy put that cape on and sword. And let me give some flowers to the rest of the Wolves. Karl Anthony Towns finally decided to show up. Rudy Gobert protected that paint like a bouncer at a Vegas nightclub. And Mike Conley, he ran that offense like a maestro. But the heart of this team, the engine, it's Anthony Edwards. And you best believe this series just got spicy. The Warriors thought they had this young team figured out. They thought Edwards was going to be rattled. But no, fam. What they ran into was a grown man who just found out what kind of pain he could play through. That type of moment, it changes a young star. This ain't the last you heard of Anthony Edwards this postseason. If anything, this is just the beginning. We talk about Jordan's flu game, Isaiah Thomas playing on a sprained ankle, Kobe finishing a game on a torn Achilles. Add this one to the list. It ain't the biggest injury, but it's the moment. A moment where a star could have played it safe and instead chose to lead. So what's next? The series goes to Golden State, and you know that building gonna be loud. Steph gonna come out gunning. But now they know, Edwards ain't no soft target. You gotta bring the whole army to stop him. And let this be a message to all the young hoopers out there. Sometimes your legacy is written not in the games where everything goes right, but in the nights where it all could go wrong. And you still choose to fight. Now that's what I call a ball player. And that's why I'm riding with the Timberwolves in this series. Not because they're the favorites, not because they got home court, but because they got home court. And the biggest, baddest heart of them all, that belongs to number 5, Mr. Anthony Edwards. Stay tuned. Olnsey Shannon gonna be watching. And if Edwards keeps playing like this, you might just be looking at the face of the NBA's future. Anthony Edwards is not just a talented player. He is a symbol of resilience. An injury is never just a minor issue in basketball. But how Edwards faced it was a true test of will. Rather than finding a reason to sit out, he chose to rise and play like a warrior. This is a lesson that anyone pursuing sports can learn from. When you truly want something, when you are hungry for victory, nothing can stop you. One of the reasons Edwards was able to shine after suffering a significant injury is because he has prepared himself both physically and mentally. NBA stars are not just known for their raw talent. They are celebrated for the countless hours of training they put in to become stronger. Not just at basketball, but at life. Edwards is living proof of this. Moments like this are not random. They are the result of thousands of hours of practice, patience, and an unyielding determination to never give up. Now, with this impressive win, every other team left in the playoffs has to look at Edwards with a different perspective. He is no longer just a young talent. He is a serious threat. Players like Edwards can change the course of an entire playoff series. And if you're an opponent, you better be prepared for a tough battle, because he has shown that he is willing to do whatever it takes to win. While Edwards' teammates all contributed significantly, his return after injury was not just about scoring or making highlight plays. It was about leadership. Edwards wasn't just leading the game. He was leading his team. His presence on the floor inspired confidence, and that confidence spread through the entire roster. When he stepped onto the court, the team followed his lead and played at their highest level. Anthony Edwards' ability to bounce back after an injury like that speaks volumes about his mental toughness. In the NBA, it's not just physical ability that separates the good from the great, but the mental game. The best players have an innate ability to overcome adversity, block out distractions, and stay focused on the task at hand. Edwards demonstrated this kind of mental resilience, showing that he is not only physically gifted, but also mentally strong. The Warriors tried to break his focus with that ankle injury, but Edwards wasn't having it. He kept his eye on the prize and returned with a vengeance, proving he has the mental fortitude of a seasoned veteran. When Edwards returned to the floor after the injury, it wasn't just his performance that elevated the Timberwolves. It was his presence. You could see the shift in the team's energy. His teammates rallied behind him, knowing that if their leader could fight through pain, so could they. This is the kind of player who makes his teammates better. This was a moment that ignited the entire squad. It wasn't just about what he could do individually, but how he inspired others to elevate their own game. Leadership like that is contagious. And when the leader is willing to sacrifice for the team, the entire group stands taller. What Anthony Edwards did on Thursday night may seem like a small part of the bigger playoff picture, but it will resonate well beyond this series. This game could very well be the turning point in his career, a moment that separates him from the rest of the young stars in the NBA. If he continues to play with this kind of passion and resilience, he could emerge as one of the next faces of the league. This game showed that Edwards is not only capable of carrying the load for the Timberwolves, but also prepared for the pressures that come with being a franchise player. Minnesota may have just witnessed the birth of their next great leader, and the rest of the league should take note. Anthony Edwards is here to stay.
Và mọi người sẽ tạo ra cho mình một nút thắt. Mình sẽ tạo vào đây là một điểm kết trước này. Và mọi người sẽ quấn vào đây. Tiếp tục, mình đã tạo được bây giờ mình đã tạo được phần đầu và phần miệng, và bây giờ mình sẽ tạo được phần thân. Mình cho mình phần kẽm. Mình sẽ gấp đoạn này lên này. Rồi mình sẽ quấn tiếp. Mình sẽ quấn xung quanh phần thân này. Mình sẽ quấn kín phần đoạn ở dưới này. Và mọi người sẽ phải gấp lên đây cho mình. Rồi mình sẽ quấn tiếp hai phần này lại với nhau. Rồi mình để gấp phần này lên đây. Mình sẽ tạo vào đây cho mình. Một điểm keo và mình sẽ gắn phần này xuống. Cố định lại. Rồi mọi người sẽ kéo lên đây cho mình. Rồi mình sẽ uốn phần này. Và mọi người sẽ rút ra. Mình sẽ có một phần thân. Và bây giờ mình sẽ dán vào đây là các phần mắt. Chuẩn bị vào đây cho mình hai phần mắt dán. Ở đây mình sẽ có một phần mắt này. Tương tự một phần mắt tiếp theo. Và bây giờ mình sẽ gắn hai phần mắt này lên. Mình sẽ tạo đây một điểm keo và một điểm keo thứ hai. Mình sẽ gắn vào đây là một phần mắt. Tương tự, mình sẽ gắn tiếp vào đây là phần mắt thứ hai này. Và bây giờ mình sẽ tạo tiếp vào đây, trang trí thêm phần vòng hoa. Chia đôi cho mình đoạn kẽm này. Mọi người sẽ gấp xuống đây cho mình một đoạn khoảng 1 cm. Rồi mọi người sẽ gấp lên, bể xuống cho mình. Rồi mọi người sẽ cầm và quấn cho mình các phần cánh này. Và như vậy mình sẽ có 3 phần cánh như trên. Và mình sẽ uốn cong lên một chút. Và mình sẽ gắn vào bên này. Tạo vào đây cho mình một điểm kêu. Mình sẽ gắn vào đây. Tiếp tục tạo tiếp vào đây cho mình phần cánh tiếp theo này. Cũng tạo cho mình là 3 phần cánh bằng nhau. Rồi tiếp tục lại đưa lên, rớt xuống, đặt chéo phần cạnh này lên và mình cũng sẽ quấn 3 vòng là tạo phần cánh thứ hai và một phần cánh thứ ba. Rồi mình sẽ gấp phần này lên đây. Tạo ra cho mình một điểm keo tiếp theo. Và mình sẽ gắn tiếp vào phần này. Và tương tự lại quấn tiếp cho mình. Và cắt tại điểm này đi. Và mình sẽ gắn tiếp vào đây. Tạo ra cho mình một phần keo. Và mình sẽ gắn vào phần này. Rồi mình sẽ gặp phần này phần dưới này. Mình sẽ điều chỉnh lại phần này một chút. Và như vậy mình đã hoàn thành xong một chú rắn đầu hoa. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem video của mình. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại.